and welcome to practice. So today we're going to use a belt for our practice. Now, I'm using this yoga belt, but you can use anything really that you can find at home. The belt off your dressing gown or off your trousers. You might also use a long sock or a pair of leggings if you don't have a belt available to you, or anything really that's long and that you can use. So we're going to start lying down on our back. I've got my cushion and my pillow here as well for the practice today. So I'm going to be using them a little bit later on. You can start with your head on the cushion if you like, but I'm not going to at this point. I'm just going to leave them over to one side. I'm going to have my belt nearby before I lie down, so I don't have to go looking for it. So come to lie all the way down. Get nice and comfortable. And we'll begin just lying on the back with the feet wider than the hips, the knees falling in towards each other and the hands on the belly. And then just close down your eyes here. Let yourself arrive at your practice. Take a few long deep breaths in and big breaths out, allowing the whole back of the body to sink down into the floor. Big sighs. Just let it all out. And then if the eyes are open, you can close them down if that feels good. The hands can either stay on the belly, or maybe you'll take them out to the sides with the palms up. Really just tuning in with the physical body as it is in this moment. Noticing if there's anything going on. So scan down through your own body from the crown of the head to the tips of the toes. And just check in and see, have you any niggles or aches and pains? Maybe you're recovering from something. So just be mindful if anything does come up. Allowing the shoulders to roll back and down. The whole back of the body heavy on the mat. And if the arms are stretched out now, bring the hands back onto the belly. And we'll do some belly breathing here. So this is a really nice relaxing breath to do. And you can do it. I like to do it before I go to bed, or sometimes when I wake up. Especially when I'm lying on my back, it's a really nice way to tune in with it. But you can actually do it at any time of the day. So each time you breathe in, you're imagining that your belly is expanding. It's going to rise upwards. And each time you breathe out, the belly will fall back down and relax. So just start to become aware of your breath first of all. Notice if you're breathing in and out through the nose or through the mouth. And see if you can just breathe in and out through the nose. You can close the mouth if that's okay. Maybe even lick the lips. And just allow the mouth to relax. And then as you breathe in, feel the belly gently rise. So there's no forcing. It's a gentle rise of the belly. And as you breathe out, a gentle fall of the belly. Breathing in, feel the expansion. So not just of the belly, but also of the rib cage. Maybe even the chest will rise. And as you breathe out, that softening, lovely sense of letting go in the whole physical being. And think about breathing in fully and also breathing out fully. And each time you breathe in, now notice the small pause before you start to breathe out. And then at the end of the out breath, that small pause before you start to breathe in again. Starting to watch the breath in this way. So there's no major effort here, no forcing. Just allowing it to happen naturally. And it's as if you're watching the breath. You're just allowing it to happen. And we'll take a few more breaths like this. I know we're getting very comfortable now. It's almost time to move. And then come back to an easy, natural breath. So that belly breathing is really soothing. It's really nourishing breath. Helps the whole body and the mind to just relax. And then take the arms out wide again. This time with the palms facing down. And allow the knees to go from side to side. Gentle, twisting, windshield wiper action. Beginning to invite that movement into the body. You might even start to turn your head from side to side. If you've got the pillow underneath your head, you can take it out now. Great. And the next time the knees come to the right side, just let them fall all the way down. You might even roll onto your right hip, stacking the knees. Or maybe you've got one hand on top of the left knee. Left hand reaches out, and then turn your head and look towards your left fingertips. It's just enjoying this stretch as the hips move in the opposite direction to the shoulders. Notice the spine, the muscles at the side waist here, your obliques. Just check in. See how they are. And then taking the gaze and the head back into center, let's bring the knees back in. And we'll change to the other side. So the knees come down, roll onto the left hip. You can even hold on to the thigh here if you like. And then maybe you'll lift your head and turn it to look to your right side. Feel that opening now in the right side waist as you twist here. We don't often hold twisting actions in our day-to-day lives. So it's nice to spend a little bit of time here, stretching the connective tissues and the muscles. And when you're ready to come back, the head comes back first, followed by the knees. And then we'll take the knees in towards the chest. Little hug in of the knees. So gentle pulses in and out. Checking in with the lower back. Making sure it's happy here. And then make circles with the knees. It's going in one direction and then go in the other direction. And then place the soles of the feet down on the floor. Walk the heels in so they're close to the bum. Not too close, they're not touching. The feet are just underneath the heels. And then breathing in, reach the arms up overhead. Let's make a big wide circle with the arms, taking them all the way back down by the sides. Breathe in, reach up. And then breathe out, make a big circle here. The next time you breathe in, see can you keep your rib cage down? Breathe in and reach up. Good. Engaging the muscles of the tummy. And then exhale, the hands come down. Now we'll change direction again. Keep the ribs down, breathing in. If there's things on the floor, you might start sweeping them out of the way. And then exhale, the hands reach up and then come down by the sides. Now squeeze the muscles of the belly. Breathe in, circle around. And then breathe out, reach them up. Can you send the low back down towards the floor as you bring the hands down by the sides? Good. Find that tummy activation as you do this. Breathing in to start the circle and breathing out. Last one here. The hands come down. Really nice. Let's keep the hands down by the sides and then find the awareness with the pelvis. A gentle rock forwards and backwards. So lifting the low back and then pressing it down. Just tuning in with the pelvis. And the next time you send the low back down, can you begin to peel up one vertebra at a time, really slowly A gentle spinal extension. Don't lift too high. Breathe out to come back down. Let's move like this with our breath. Breathing in to slowly peel up. Nice and slow. And breathing out, coming back down. We'll do 2 more like this. You can go a little bit higher now if you feel that's available. Stretching the front of the body. And breathe out to go down. Good. Last one. Breathing in. Maybe this time you'll reach the hands up as you lift up. Reach them overhead. Big spinal extension. And breathe out. Back down to the floor. So good. Let's take the feet wide apart again. Another little windshield wiper here just to neutralize after the spinal extensions. And then simply roll onto one side and bring yourself all the way up. We'll roll onto hands and knees from here. If you're using a blanket, you can have to crawl around. If you're using a blanket, you can have it underneath the knees. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Grounding the hands, Hatha Bandha down into the mat. The knees are hips width apart. Breathe in to let the belly go down. Extend the tail. Lift the chest and look up. On your exhale, start to round in for cat. Chin comes to the chest. Tuck the tail under. Breathing in for cow. Belly goes down. The chest lifts. Look up. Exhale, rounding in. Move like this with your breath. So we talked in the last few classes about the different ways that our spine can move. So these are flexion and extension. Remember, it's flexion as you round in. I'm just going to move my jumper. It's going into my microphone. You keep moving. And it's an extension as the belly goes down and you lift the chest, lift the gaze. So this is 2 ways the spine can move. And when we were twisting there in our back, that was 2 ways as well. So twisting right and twisting left. Now come back into center, find a neutral spine. Think length from the crown of the head to the tailbone. And then look over your right shoulder. Can you send your hips to the right? So here's a lateral spinal movement. So it's a side bend. And this is another way our spine can move. And then come back to center, gaze and hips come back and go to the other side. And this is the last movement, lateral to the left. So 6 movements all together. Flexion, extension, twist, twist. Side bend, and then breathe in. Let's come back into center. Really nice. Come on up onto the knees, reach the arms up overhead, circle out the wrists. You stay where you are. I'm just going to turn sideways so you can see me, or forwards I should say. And then from here, take a hold of the left wrist with your right hand. Breathe in, lengthen. Can you draw the rib cage down and then lean gently to the side? So here's more lateral flexion of the spine. Stretching into the waist, finding length in the side body. Breathing in, come back to center. We'll change hands, so hold the other wrist. You're holding the right wrist this time. We'll take a long breath and then start to lean over to the left side. So you're drawing the left arm a little bit deeper over by holding onto it. Breathe in, come back to center, and exhale, release. Let's roll the shoulders up to the ears. Few big shoulder movements. And then we'll take the arms out to shoulder height. Let's make some big circles with the arms. Really nice big circles. About 3 in each direction. Go one way and then change to the other way. And be slow and mindful here. Notice if there's any clicking or clunking or anything that feels like restriction going on in the shoulders. Just be mindful of your shoulder joints. Great, and then come back into center. We'll take the hands to cactus arms, and you can sit back on the heels now if you like, so you're kneeling. If this doesn't work, come back onto the knees. As you breathe out, round the spine, the chin comes to the chest, the elbows come towards each other. Breathe in, open up, send the chest forwards and gaze up. Exhale, round in, cactus arms. Inhale, opening up. This is a seated cat-cow, so the same as we did when we were on the hands and knees. Breathe in to open and breathe out to round in. And then when you're ready, returning to a neutral spine and relax the arms down. Let's give the shoulders another roll. I know we work them quite a lot there. So we're coming into a lunge. So when you're ready, come onto either the knees or you can come to hands and knees to give yourself a little bit of stability here. And then step the right foot forwards. From here, let the hips come down. Hands can stay on the thigh to begin with. You might even move the leg out to the side a little bit here to give you some more space. But we definitely want the knee tracking over the foot. We don't want the knee falling in or falling out. Holding here, taking a few breaths. Option to stay with the hands on the thigh or to breathe in to reach the arms up overhead. Soft shoulders, gaze up between the fingertips. You've got the option for cactus arms here if this doesn't feel good. Or you can always have the hands down on the thigh, as I said. Take a few long, deep breaths. And then with your next exhale, let's take the hands down and bring them behind the back. Interlacing the fingers, draw the shoulder blades together. Squeeze the shoulder blades in towards one another. If this doesn't feel available, just fold the arms behind the back, or you can stay at any stage that we did before. When you're ready to release, slowly releasing, bring the hips back so that now your hips are over your back knee, and we'll change legs. Step the right knee in underneath and bring the left foot out. Remember, you can have the hands down here for balance if you like, depending on what's going on. And if you need more space, the foot zigzags out a little bit. Breathe in to lengthen, breathe out. Let the hips come forwards. Find your version of the lunge. Hands can be on the thigh. Staying here for a few breaths, and when you're ready, if it's available, reach the arms up, gazing up between the fingertips. Soft shoulders and a soft face. And then in your own time, taking the hands behind the back, you can fold the arms, or if it's available, interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other, open the chest, maybe even lift the gaze. Stretching the front of the chest, the pectoral muscles, all of those muscles that get tight from sitting at the computer or sitting on the couch or driving, all of the things we do every day. And when you're ready to release, a slow release, let's bring the hips back. We're coming up to stand, so stay with that kneeling position. Tuck the back toes under, use your hands on your left thigh and press yourself up to stand. Really nice. Let's come to stand on the mat. Feet about hips width apart and circle out the hips. So you can even be picking up the feet and moving them around a little bit here, just getting used to the feel of this movement. You might be leaning back side to side, maybe even a bit more forwards. Just do whatever feels good. Go one way and then pause and go the other direction. And then with your inhale, bring yourself back into center, standing up really tall. So good. So we're going to take the legs a little bit wider apart here, stepping the feet wider and turn the toes out for goddess squats. We've done this before. We're always looking to keep the knees tracking over the feet and to keep the shoulders over the hips. So remember, we're not coming into the squat and allowing ourselves to tip forward and sticking the bum out. We're working here to lengthen the tailbone towards the floor. The knees bend, they come out over the feet. The shoulders stay over the hips. The belly is activated. We're finding Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha here in these poses. So let's come into this. Set yourself up, wide feet, toes turned out like a ballerina. Think about lengthening up through the body. The hands can start at the hips, and then with your next out breath, bend the knees. The knees are going over the feet, so they don't want to fall inwards. We're taking them out. Breathe in to come up and breathe out to squat down. Move with your own breath. Option for the arms if you like and if you feel balanced. Breathing in, reach it up. Breathe out, squat down. Inhale up and exhale down. Great. Inhale up and exhale. This time, let's hold the squat. Now, activate Mula Bandha, the pelvic floor. We're really thinking about finding a lovely connection with it here. And then take your right arm down onto your right thigh. Reach the left arm up overhead, so alongside the ear. Good. Holding here. Find that side stretch. Use your inhale to come back into center. Stay strong in the legs. You can come out at any stage that you need to. And we'll take the second side. If you're still with me, left arm comes down onto the left thigh, right arm reaches up and over. So good. Keep the legs strong. Keep the pelvic floor working. Belly's drawing in. You're still breathing. And then inhale, come back into center. Take one more breath here. Stay strong. And then use your next inhale to come up. Exhale, release. Really good. Let's zigzag the feet in towards each other. Give the hips a little rock from side to side. Maybe some circles as well. And then we'll widen the stance again, just as we did before. This time we'll turn the right toes out. The left foot is parallel with the short edge of the mat or a little bit turned in, and we'll bend the right knee. So this is warrior two legs. The right knee is over the heel. We're grounding through little toe side of the left foot. And even though our legs are apart here, I want you to think about energetically dragging the legs back in towards each other. Imagine you could squash up the mat between your feet here. Your legs are so switched on, they're so active. And then bring the arms out to a T, shoulder height, gaze out over the middle finger of the right hand. Take a little peep down. Can you see the tips of your right toes? And if you can't, you need to bring the knee a little bit back. And if you can see your ankle, then you need to bend the knee a little bit more. The front of your ankle, I should have said. So let's hold warrior two here. A few long, deep breaths. The arms are really strong. And then breathing in. Let's reach the arms up overhead. You can look forwards now. Imagine you're holding onto a little ball, like a beach ball or a basketball, although basketballs are quite heavy. I don't like to use them as a visual. Beach balls are light. And then from here, let's lean side to side, holding that imaginary ball in our hands. Breathe in to come to center and breathe out to lean to the side. Good. Breathe in to center, breathe out to lean. Whew. Working the side waist, breathe into center, breathe out. One more each side. Can you keep those legs working? Are you still scrunching up the mat? And then let's come back to center and release the hands. So nice. Give the arms a little roll out. And then we'll straighten the right leg. The toes are still pointing to the side. The left foot is anchored down into the floor. We're preparing for a pose called triangle pose. So there's a few different variations of this pose, and I'm going to talk you through it as we come into it. We really want to anchor through little toe side of the left foot here, so make sure it's down on the floor. Breathe in, reach the arms out to a T, lengthening from the crown of the head. On your next exhale, reach out to the side. And then start to bring your right hand down. It might come to your thigh or to your shin, and then start to reach the left hand up towards the ceiling. So holding here, notice if you're rolling into little or big toe side of the left foot, anchor down through the little toes. The hand can stay either on the thigh if you're here, or the shin. For some of you, the hand will be down on the ankle. And we're working here to turn the chest to the side. So it's that side bend, that side lean. And try not to let your head hang down. Keep the neck working. This helps to strengthen your neck, so you get less shoulder and neck issues. Resting gently on the shin or the thigh, wherever you are, but never the knee joint. Try not to press hard into the leg. When you're ready to come up, it's an inhale, come on up, and exhale, release. Really nice. We'll turn the right toes in, and the left foot turns out. Again, make any adjustments that you need to. Ideally, the heel of the left foot is in line with the instep of the right foot. And I've got that stripe on my leg, so that's why I was moving my foot back a little bit there, just so that my alignment was correct. Now, as I always say, just because that's an alignment cue, it doesn't mean that's necessarily going to work for your body. So make any adjustments that you need so that you're never in a place of pain or injury or discomfort during your practice. You do want to feel like you're working, but definitely never ever any pain. So from here, let's bend the left knee and take it over the heel, sitting low in the hips for warrior two. Remember, we don't want to lunge forwards here. So lunge is when the knee is coming over the foot. It's like bone stacking. The knee is over the heel. We're working to ground through little toe side of the back foot, so your right foot now. And remember, even though the legs are apart, let's think about drawing them in towards each other, firing up the muscles on the inside and the outside of the thighs. And then breathing in, we'll take the hands to shoulder height, holding warrior two for a few breaths. Your gaze or your drishti point is out over the middle finger of the left hand. Can you rest the shoulders down away from the ears? Imagine I'm there behind you with my hands on your shoulders, softly resting them, no effort. And then we'll breathe in to reach the arms up. Take a hold of your imaginary basketball, or beach ball, I should say, whichever is the lighter one. And then from here, we'll start to lean to the side. So breathe in first, and then as you breathe out, lean side. Breathe in to come back to center and breathe out. Lean to the side. Good. Let's work here with your own breath. Go at your own pace and in your own time. And we never want to go too far here. We definitely don't want to go into the low back. We're looking to use our muscles at the side of our waist. So these are our obliques, and they help us to side bend here. You'll know if you've been working them. So if you're feeling anything in the low back, then draw the belly in and try not to lean back so much. I've lost count now. I'm awful sorry. So we'll just do one more each side. And then when you're ready, let's come back into center and release the hands. Really good. Get ready for triangle pose. So we'll straighten the left leg. Again, check to see if your feet moved. Hopefully they haven't, and you've still got the heel in line with the instep of the back foot. Grounding through little toe side of the right leg this time. Think about hugging the muscles to the bones here, especially when the legs are straight, and with the left leg. It's as if you're squeezing these muscles at the front of the thigh. You might even put your hands onto them and then activate them. You can see your kneecap starts to lift up. So we really want to keep that action while we're coming into triangle pose. Breathe in, the arms come to a T as we lengthen through the spine. Breathe out, reach out to the side, and then bring the left hand down either to the thigh or the shin. Right hand reaches up. Good. So try not to round forwards. We don't want to lean down like this. We're thinking about opening across the chest, creating space from the right fingertips to the left fingertips. Keep your neck active, turning to look up past the fingertips if the neck will allow. Last breath here. It's an inhale to come up and exhale. Let's release. Really nice. So from here, we'll turn the feet now so that they're pigeon-toed. So it's only the left foot really that needs to turn in. We're working with straight legs for a forward fold. Inhale here, lengthen. On your exhale, start to fold out and just come halfway down. Keep the legs straight. Lengthen from the crown of the head to the tailbone. You can keep looking at the floor. The chest is parallel to the floor. A gentle tuck of your chin here. Take a few long, deep breaths. And then breathe in, slowly come back up. And exhale to release. Really nice. We're taking another forward fold. So you might find that that felt like enough for today. If you'd like to go a little bit further, you can release the hands down to the floor. I would say to you, don't have the feet too wide for this pose, because then sometimes we can start to collapse into the inside of the feet and we lose the control in the pose. So we're really looking all of the time to be activating the muscles and to stay with our breath as well. Sometimes when we go past our edge, the breath speeds up, it becomes out of control, and we lose that mind-body connection. So it's important to stay within your safe place for your practice. So when you're ready, hands can start on the hips. Inhale to lengthen. Let's activate the belly on your exhale, folding out and down. Remember, you can stay halfway. You can come up at any stage that you like, or maybe you'll bring the hands down to the floor. You could be on fingertips here. If your hands are coming down to the floor really easily and the palms are down, then you can start to walk them back so the heels of the hands are in line with your heels. I'm staying up on my fingertips here, engaging the fronts of the legs, squeezing the muscles towards the bones. And with each exhale, you might melt a little deeper into this fold. Don't worry if the hands aren't coming to the floor. You can always keep them on the hips. And when you're ready to come out, if the hands are down, come up onto the fingertips. You might even walk the hands forwards. Gaze in front of you for a halfway lift. On your next exhale, the two hands come to the hips, and then breathe in. We'll all come up together and exhale to release. Really nice. Well done. That's a great pose that you can really see progression in, I should say, over time. It's a really nice one. And like I said before, a lot of the time it's really tempting to take the feet wide apart. But then what happens is, I know I do this myself all the time, you come right down and then you start to collapse in and you lose the control around the hips and especially in the knees as well. So it can be a little bit injurious. So it's better to have the feet a little bit closer together in the beginning and then work from there. So from here, we're coming back down onto the mat. So we'll zigzag the feet together. If you're feeling energetic, you can hop them together. And then we'll come down onto the mat. So come onto the hands and knees to begin with. Quite near the top of your mat. Keep the toes tucked under. The knees are just about hips width apart, so you can look back and make sure they're not completely together. And then really press down into the floor with your hands. Take the awareness to the shoulders. We've done a lot of warming up in our shoulders. And then can you draw your shoulder blades together? It's almost like you're sending your chest down towards the floor, but the arms are staying straight. And then can you press the mat away and dome up through the top of the shoulders? So move like this with your breath, retracting the shoulder blades as they squeeze together. The chest almost falls down towards the floor. And then pressing the mat away. It's like you're lifting just the chest. It's coming through the body and out between the shoulders. Good. So don't worry now if this isn't working in your body. Keep going like this. Try not to bend your elbows. Sometimes you bend our elbows as a little bit of a cheat here for this shoulder mobility movement. And then when you're ready, find the halfway point. So it almost feels like your shoulder blades are flat on your back. Draw the belly in, hugging in towards the midline of the body. Step one foot to the back of the mat and then step the other foot to the back of the mat. Whoo, find a high plank and then lower your knees. Good, with control. So now the hips are down. We don't want the bum sticking up in the air like this. So lower the hips. Shoulders are over the wrists. And then when you're ready, slowly descend to lie on the belly with your exhale. Elbows hugging inwards for a modified chaturanga. Really nice. So however you get there, come on down to the belly. Take the hands underneath the shoulders. The toes are pointing back. Roll the shoulders up to the ears and down the back. And then with your next inhale, squeeze the fronts of the thighs. Breathing in, gently start to peel up the chest. Gazing just in front of you. The elbows are staying bent all of the time. Exhale to lie back down. We'll move like this with our breath. Breathing in as you come up for cobra. And breathing out to lie down. Don't worry how high you come. We're using the muscles of our back to lift us up and down here. The toes are staying down. The legs stay active. And the next time we come up, we'll hold it here and we'll test our cobra. Just so we can find out what muscles we're using in our body. So holding it here. Can you float your hands up? Good. Don't worry if you end up falling back down. That's okay. Just stay at the height you can hold at and then release the hands and slowly lie back down on the belly. Really nice. Let's cross the arms underneath. I'm moving back a little bit so I've got space. Cross the hands underneath the forehead. Oh, and take some rest. Tune back in with your breath. Just notice, has the breath sped up? How's it feeling? And then when you're ready, lifting the head, we'll take the hands now so that they're just out a little bit in front of the shoulders and the elbows are underneath the shoulders. So this is a Sphinx pose. You can rock the pelvis from side to side here. Ideally, we want to feel the pubic bone and the two hip bones, so the two ASIS, or you know, the bony landmarks at the very front of your body. Just low down in your belly. We want to feel those against the floor. We also want the toes to stay down. And then you can squeeze the thighs and feel the kneecaps might lift up off the mat. So we're activating here in the legs. And then from here, imagine you're pulling your chest or dragging your chest through the arms. Start to lift just a little bit from the chest, but the arms stay down. You won't go anywhere. You won't actually lift any place. You're just going to feel this activation now. Maybe in the top of your belly, maybe other places in the body too. Think about dragging your chest, dragging your body through the arms, grounding the hands and the forearms down into the floor. Keep breathing. I know it's tough. And when you're ready, gently release. Whew. Let's take the hands under the forehead and rest. So it's really important to take this rest in between our bursts of energetic movement, just to give our breath time to come back to normal and also to let our muscles relax. So let's come on back up. So I'm going to give you the option now. You can do cobra pose just as we did in the beginning. So that's the one where our hands are under the shoulders. Our shoulders roll back and down. Elbows are in by the ribs. We're squeezing the thighs, but the toes stay down. And we breathe in to lift. So you might be moving like this dynamically, doing a few of these. You might take Sphinx pose as we just did before, or you can come with me into locust. So locust is a little bit more going on in this back bend. We're going to lift the legs and the upper body as well. So you can take a little look at me first if you haven't done this pose before, and I'll show you how it goes. Apologies if the microphone gets a little bit squashed, because I am going to bring my forehead down onto the floor now. Okay, so I begin, just move my jumper. I begin with my forehead on the floor. My arms are down by my sides. And then as I breathe in, I slowly start to peel the chest up off the floor. I lift the arms and reach down towards my heels. And then I start to lift the legs up. They're staying parallel. My gaze lifts ever so slightly. I draw the shoulder blades back towards each other. And I can feel the bony protrusions at the front of my body on the mat. So my pubic bone and my hip bones are still down on the floor. My bottom ribs are still on the floor too. I'm taking a few breaths here, and when I'm ready to release, it's a slow release back down. Woo-hoo. And I take rest. So when you're ready, come with me. Remember, you can take any of the three options. So you might be working with cobra, maybe you'll take Sphinx, or maybe you will have locust. So if you're taking locust, put the forehead on the floor, the arms come down by the sides. And it's an inhale to start to peel up. Bring the chest up first. Reach your fingertips down towards your heels and then start to lift your legs. The legs stay parallel. You can point the toes here. Imagine you're reaching back. You want to touch your toes with your fingertips. The chin and the gaze can lift slightly here, but be mindful of the neck. Keep breathing. I know it's a strong pose. You're working hard. All the back of the body engaged, and when you're ready to come down, slowly release down. Make a pillow with your hands. Take rest. Allow the whole back of the body now to relax down. Letting go of the effort. If you're looking one way now, you can turn the head and look the other way. So the neck gets an even stretch on either side. You might even bend the knees this time and then let the legs go from side to side. This is a lovely way to release out. I love spinal extensions on my belly. They're a great way to really strengthen the muscles of the back. And if you're waving the legs now, bring them back into center. Straighten the legs out. Take the hands under the shoulders. And we'll press our way back up into tabletop. From tabletop, find a neutral spine and then very gentle pelvic tucks up and down. So it's like cat-cow, just the pelvis is moving really gently. Tucking under and then coming back to neutral. Maybe a little bit of extension if that feels like something your body needs. And then from here, sink the hips back to the heels. Take child's pose. Your variation or your version of child's pose. I've got the knees wide apart here. And I'm bringing the forehead to the floor with my hands down by my sides. You might prefer the hands out in front. Maybe you've got some cushions between your hips and your heels. You might have cushions under your knees, or maybe you're staying with the elbows on the floor and your head in your hands. So many options for child's pose. In your own time now, start to come back up. That exhale, release. Really nice. Let's come to sit down on the mat. So you can sit on a cushion or a blanket if you like. And if you've got that belt, have it nearby now, because we are going to use it again in a few minutes. You can sit with the legs crossed if that's available. If not, maybe kneeling or sitting with the legs to the side might be better for you today. And then we'll take the arms to cactus arms and wrap the right arm underneath the left. So you might stay here with the backs of the hands together, or maybe you'll take the hands onto the shoulders. This is a great way as well to do eagle arms, which is the pose we're about to do. If this is available, bringing the backs of the hands together, maybe you can wrap the hands around so the palms meet. You might have the thumbs together. It's like your thumbs are in the midline of the body. And if this feels comfortable, breathe in to lift the elbows. Breathe out, press the hands away. So this is quite an intense stretch on the shoulders for most people. Breathe into the back of the shoulder blades. And when you're ready to release, the elbows draw down wherever your arms are, unravel. And we'll just give the shoulders a little roll out. And then come back to eagle arms. This time we'll wrap the left arm under the right. And you'll find one side probably will be different to the other. If you've got that bind, the hands come together. Remember, if that's not available, it's like you're hugging yourself here. You're still getting to stretch out the back of the body. So any of these variations are fine. Maybe you'll lift the elbows on an inhale, press the hands away from your face on an exhale to go deeper. And listen to the sound of your breath here. When you're ready to release, the elbows draw down, unravel the arms and give them a roll out. Really nice. And then from here, we'll stretch the legs out. So I am going to use a blanket for this. Just reach out and get it. I feel like I'm crawling around the mat sometimes. I've got the blanket here. I'm going to sit on it and draw the flesh out from the sitting bones. So it's like you're lifting your bum cheeks away from the floor, bringing them out to the side almost so the sitting bones can ground down into the floor. And then if it's comfortable to straighten your legs, you can have the legs straight here and have your belt nearby. And then lasso the belt around the feet. Bring the legs together if that works. And then bring your belt so that it's just where the toes finish at the soles of the feet. So the balls of the feet. And we're holding onto the belt, sitting up as tall as we can. Now think about pressing the heels away, backs of the legs ground down into the floor. Dandasana, staff pose, supported. So you've got that support to the belt. See, can you loosen the belt and can you stay sitting up really tall like this? The answer might be no, and that's okay, don't worry. You might feel like you're rounding back like this. So if that's happening, then let's bring a softness into the knees and see if that improves things. We want the spine to stay long here in our forward folding. And when you're ready to fold forward, breathe in first and then breathe out. Start to fold down. You can walk your hands down the belt as far as they want to go. Try not to pull into the shoulders. We've just gone to the trouble of stretching them out. So try to keep them relaxed. Gaze towards your big toes. It might just be a small hinge from the hips like what I'm doing here. For some of you, your chest could be down on the legs right now. That's okay if that's where your body goes. For others, the knees are going to be bent, so you might look more like this. You might even be holding onto the feet if your knees are bent or if you feel more open in the backs of the legs. You can have any variation of this pose. And when you're ready to come out, breathe in, slowly come up. We'll keep the ball around the foot, around the left foot, I should say, and then bend the right knee up and we'll take it out to the side for a pose called Janu Shirshasana A. If you need support underneath the right knee now, you can have a cushion, or if you've got yoga blocks, it's always lovely to pop something underneath it. This really just allows the right hip to relax and for the leg to externally rotate. Take an inhale here to lengthen, and as you exhale, begin to fold down over the left leg. You might be gathering up your belt into your hands or moving your hands down the belt. So try not to pull or force yourself into the pose. Just be wherever you are. And then soften the gaze and look towards the left big toe. Now we'll breathe in to come up. You can take the belt with you this time and leave it down. And breathe out as you arrive here seated. Let's keep the legs as they are. Take an inhale and reach the arms up towards the sky. On your exhale, twisting to the left side, left hand comes behind you. Right hand comes behind you. Left hand is resting on your right thigh. Breathe in to lengthen and breathe out, twisting mindfully. Maybe look over the shoulder if the neck will allow. If there's anything going on in the neck, you can stay looking more over the left thigh. And then can you flex your left foot? Sorry, I meant to say right thigh there. Can you flex your left foot and curl the toes back towards you? You know it's nearly time for Shavasana when I start mixing up the right and the left. Yes, we're nearly there. Okay, breathe in. Let's come back to center and breathe out to release. We'll change legs. So stretching out the right leg, bending up the left knee and take it out to the side. Again, you might have that support. I'm going to put the block underneath my knee. You can use the cushion or whatever you've got at home for that. And then using your support or your belt, place it around the ball of the right foot. Right leg stays straight if possible here. Of course, you can bend it if you feel that feels better for you. Breathe in to sit up tall, breathe out to fold yourself down. And begin to walk the hands down the belt. Just come to that place where you feel like you're between effort and ease. No pushing, no forcing, no yanking or pulling. And just find that sweet spot. With all of the forward folds, I tilt a little from the hips. For some of you, you're going to be more flexible and your head might be down on your shin. That's great. Go there if it's available. For some of you, you're going to be more up here. That's great too. It doesn't really matter how far you are down in the pose. Just thinking about keeping that connection with your breath and really respecting your body wherever it's at and knowing it's okay. If your pose doesn't look like mine or mine doesn't look like yours, that's okay. We're finding acceptance and it's all good. Aren't we lucky to be here, to be able to move our bodies on the mat? I sound like my mother now, don't I? From here, breathe in. Let's come on up. Take the belt off, leave it to the side. Prepare for the twist. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, twisting to the left side. So your left hand comes down behind you and the right hand is just resting on the left knee. Keep that right foot active. Leg is strong. Breathe in to lengthen and breathe out. A gentle twist. Can you soften the face and the shoulders? With an inhale, finding the length. With the exhale, gently twisting, finding compression. And then breathe in. Let's slowly come back into center. Exhale, release. We'll take the soles of the feet together for Baddha Konasana, cobbler's pose. The knees come out to the sides and you can move the legs up and down here. Think about keeping the spine long. And then let the legs relax. If it feels better to keep moving, then stay there. You can keep moving. That's good too. If you're ready for a forward fold here, inhale to lengthen and exhale, folding down. Keep the spine long for this one. There's two variations of this pose where we do it with a long spine and we do it with a flexed spine. So this is with a long spine, just a neutral spine really. And we're looking to stretch into the inside of the legs, the groin area. If you're in the pose, you are feeling it. It's a great stretch. Breathe in. Let's come back into center and release. Take the legs together. Pop off your blanket or your cushion if you're sitting on it. Leave it over to the side. Take the hands behind you and then windshield wiper. Gently, side to side. Look over the opposite shoulder as the knees go down. Really make the most of these twists as we finish our practice. And today we will finish our practice in legs up the wall, one of my favorite poses. So let's come on over to the wall. Just move anything out of the way that might be in your way. My mat is stuck to the ground. I'm actually using 3 yoga mats here. I really like a lot of padding underneath me, and it's really nice to have support. If you have more than 1 yoga mat, I definitely suggest piling them up. The only problem is when you're balancing, then it can feel really wobbly. So if I'm doing a standing balance, I'll come off the mat to do it. Now, before you come into legs up the wall, have your cushion ready. Again, I'm crawling around on the floor. If you like to use an eye pillow, have it ready now. So the pillow's going to come about halfway down. If you're using the blanket, have it nearby. And also put your music on if you're putting on a nice song for Shavasana. And then come over to the side of your mat. So it's like you're almost about to sit off the side of the mat. I'm not in the middle of it at all. My hips are quite close to the wall here, but they're not right against it. Unless you know you like to be really close in, you can shuffle yourself closer to the wall. And then from here, spin around and let the legs come up the wall. You can have the knees bent or the legs soft. I've got my legs kind of soft here. Now, and then if you've got your blanket, put it over you. Allow the eye pillow to go onto the eyes. Maybe you'll take the hands out to the sides. For some of you, you might like the knees bent and the soles of the feet on the wall. For other people, maybe you'll go for the wide legs, especially after stretching out the groin there. So you can decide. I'm going to have the legs together. You do you, I'll do me. Let go of any effort. Just allow yourself to sink down into the mat, into the ground. Allow your legs to be really heavy. It's like they're sitting down into the hip sockets, resetting. Inviting every muscle in the body to completely relax. And if at any stage you want to come out of legs up the wall and just lie, then please feel free to do that. You'll just bend the knees and then roll to the side. Otherwise, really taking this opportunity to rest the legs, to rest the whole body. Notice your thoughts as they come and go. And it's okay to have thoughts in Shavasana. You can let them come, you can let them go. You might even decide that you don't want to think in Shavasana today, and if that's the case, then as the thoughts come in, you can label them. If they're about work, put the label work on them. Put them into an imaginary basket and then put the lid on top. Put it away, and you can always come back to it later. When more thoughts come in, put them into the basket, put the lid on top, and leave them over to one side. Know that this is your time. It's your relaxation, your Shavasana. You're welcome to stay here for as long as you like. You can allow the video to play in the background. You can just ignore me. Or you can come with me as I reawaken, allowing the breath to deepen and gently moving the fingers and the toes. And if the legs are still up the wall, bend the knees, take the soles of the feet onto the wall first. You might move the low back forwards and back, just awakening the body. And then maybe bringing the knees in towards you. Give yourself a hug, rock gently from side to side. And then come to lie on one side. Give yourself a moment here, allowing the gaze to come back around from the room. And whenever you feel ready, coming back up to sit. So sitting comfortably at the end of your practice. We'll take the hands together at the heart center in a gesture of prayer, peace and thanks, or if it feels better for you, you can take both hands onto the heart. So either of these options are really nice at the end of practice, whichever one works for you. I always liked Anjali Mudra. It's like that bringing together of the masculine and the feminine, the right and the left side of the body. Two sides. There's always two sides to every story as well, isn't there? That joining together, giving thanks and praise. And we'll bow our heads. Namaste.